Polenta is a dish of boiled cornmeal. It may be consumed hot as a porridge or allowed to cool and solidify into a loaf, which is then baked, fried, or grilled. Etymology: Latin polenta, covered any hulled and crushed grain, especially barley meal, and is derived from Latin pollen, fine flour, which shares a root with pulvis, dust. Description: as it is known today, polenta derives from earlier forms of grain mush, commonly eaten since Roman times. Before the introduction of corn from America in the 16th century, polenta was made with such starchy ingredients as farro, chestnut flour, millet, spelt, and chickpeas. Polenta has a creamy texture due to the gelatinization of starch in the grain. However, its consistency may not be completely homogeneous if a coarse grind or hard grain such as flint corn is used. Historically, polenta was served as a peasant food in North America and Europe. The reliance on maize, which lacks readily accessible niacin unless cooked with alkali to release it, as a staple, caused outbreaks of pellagra throughout the American South and much of Europe until the 20th century. In the 1940s and 1950s, polenta was often eaten with salted anchovy or herring, sometimes topped with sauces. Preparation: polenta is typically simmered in a water-based liquid with other ingredients. Ingredients can also be added later once the polenta is done. It is often cooked in a large copper pot known in Italian as a paiuolo. Boiled polenta may be eaten as it is, or it may be allowed to set, then baked, grilled or fried. Leftovers can be used the same way. In the Trieste area, it is eaten after the Venetian tradition with cuttlefish and tomato broth, with sausage following Austrian influence, with cooked plums following an ancient recipe. Some Lombard polenta dishes are polenta tiragna, polenta uncia, polenta concie, polenta e gorgonzola, and misaltin e polenta. All are cooked with various cheeses and butter, except the last one, which is cooked with fish from Lake Como. It can also be prepared with porcini mushrooms, rapini, or other vegetables or meats, such as small songbirds in the case of the Venetian and Lombard dish polenta iose. In some areas of Veneto, it can be also made of white cornmeal. In some areas of Piedmont, it can be also made of potatoes instead of cornmeal. In the westernmost Alpine region, the maize is sometimes added with local grains, barley and rye, and often friture, toasted on a lozza. The variety of cereal used is usually yellow maize, but buckwheat, white maize, or mixtures thereof may be used. Coarse grinds make a firm, coarse polenta. Finer grinds make a creamy, soft polenta. Polenta takes a long time to cook, typically simmering in 4 to 5 times its volume of watery liquid for about 45 minutes with near constant stirring, necessarily for even gelatinization of the starch. Some alternative cooking techniques are meant to speed up the process, or not to require supervision. Quick cooking polenta is widely used and can be prepared in a few minutes. It is considered inferior to polenta made from unprocessed cornmeal and best eaten baked or fried. Cooked polenta can be shaped into balls, patties, or sticks, and then fried in oil, baked, or grilled until golden brown. Fried polenta is called crostini di polenta or polenta fritta. In his book Eat, Bill Buford talks about his experiences as a line cook in Mario Battelli's Italian restaurant Babbo. Buford details the differences in taste between instant polenta and slow-cooked polenta, and describes a method of preparation that takes up to 3 hours, but does not require constant stirring. Polenta, for most of its cooking, is left unattended. If you don't have to stir it all the time, you can cook it 4 hours. What does it matter, as long as you're nearby? Cook's Illustrated magazine has described a method using a microwave oven that reduces cooking time to 12 minutes and requires only a single stirring to prepare 3½ cups of cooked polenta, and in March 2010 presented a stovetop near stirless method using a pinch of baking soda, which replicates the traditional effect. Kyle Phillips suggested making it in a polenta maker or in a slow cooker. In popular culture, polenta is a staple of northern Italian cuisine and its consumption is traditionally associated with lower classes, as in times past cornmeal mush was an essential food in their everyday nutrition.